My girlfriend said, "My ex is just my safety net." I said, "Then I guess I'm cutting the rope." And I did. She reached for familiar comfort. I reached for self-respect. Funny how fast a net looks like a trap once you step back and breathe. I'm Eric, 28, and until that Sunday I thought my girlfriend Kylie, 26, was it. The one. We'd been together nearly a year. Enough time for her toothbrush to migrate permanently to my bathroom, her plants to invade my kitchen window, and her perfume to haunt my car upholstery. I'd even started browsing Zillow listings for homes with walk-in closets, because her wardrobe could colonize a small country. That morning we met her friends for brunch at this painfully trendy cafe called Sunnyside. Exposed brick, overpriced avocado toast, and the kind of crowd that talks louder when they want to be overheard. Kylie loved that place, said it made her feel seen. Halfway through her second mimosa, she leaned back and announced, "Smart girls always keep a safety net. My ex Noah? He's my backup, just in case." Her friends howled. One even clinked glasses with her. I sat there, mid-bite of Eggs Benedict, smiling like a prop while my stomach turned cold. When I managed to ask, "You're joking, right?" she waved her hand. "Don't be so insecure, Eric. Every girl does it." She said it so casually, like she was talking about sunscreen, not emotional insurance. And everyone just nodded like this was normal. I didn't argue, didn't raise my voice or make a scene. I just watched her laugh. That effortless, practiced laugh that once felt like music. And something inside me stopped moving. Not love, not anger, just a clean, hard click of clarity. The moment she drained the last drop from her mimosa, I knew I was done. She thought she had a safety net. What she didn't know was that I'd already started cutting the ropes. After brunch, Kylie gave me one of those breezy goodbye kisses, quick, public, designed for appearances. "I'm heading to the mall," she said, slipping on her sunglasses. "Need to get a gift for my mom." Sure, her mom. The same woman she hadn't spoken to in 2 months because of boundaries. I smiled, wished her luck, and watched her walk toward her car, heels clacking like punctuation marks to a sentence I was already done reading. Back home, I sat at my desk, opened her Instagram, and did something I'd never done before. Scrolled all the way down, past the filtered brunches and beach selfies, past the new beginnings captions that suddenly looked like recycled breakup posts. That's where I found him, Noah Bennett. The backup. He was in at least 20 photos, still tagged. Still there in the digital attic she never bothered to clean out. Realtor, apparently, had one of those grinning headshots where the teeth were almost as white as the lies they probably smiled through. I clicked his business profile. There it was, number, website, contact form. I stared at the phone for a long minute, debating. Then I remembered the sound of her voice saying, "Every girl does it." That's when my finger moved on its own. He picked up on the third ring. "Bennett Realty. This is Noah." "Hey Noah. This is Eric. I'm dating Kylie." Pause. Cautious inhale. "Oh, okay. Is everything all right?" "Yeah, totally fine. Just wanted to let you know. Your backup status has been upgraded to primary." I'm out. Dead silence. Then a shaky breath. She said she needed time. That she still loved me. I leaned back in my chair. "Guess time's up, man. Congrats on the promotion." I hung up before he could reply. The calm that followed was almost cinematic. Like the sound dropped out of the world for a minute, leaving only the hum of my computer fan and the faint satisfaction that comes from rearranging chaos into order. 2 hours later, the storm arrived. My phone lit up with call after call from Kylie. First, "Call me." Then, "What did you do?" Then, "Answer me right now." I didn't. I just let it vibrate on the table, screen glowing like a warning light. By the 5th missed call, she switched to texts. "Kylie. What the hell, Eric? You called Noah?" "Me, yeah. I figured he deserved an update." "Kylie. You had an O right." "Me. I didn't ruin anything. I just let the truth breathe a little." "You built the lie yourself." The typing bubbles came and went, then disappeared entirely. For a brief, delicious hour, silence. Then the doorbell rang. She stood there in the hallway, still in her brunch outfit, makeup slightly smudged from tears or rage. I couldn't tell. Her voice was low, sharp. Do you have any idea what you've done? Sure, I said, leaning against the doorframe. I saved you the trouble of juggling. Her eyes flashed. He's just a friend, Eric. You completely misinterpreted. Back up. Remember? Your words. Brunch, table 5 with your friends as witnesses. You can check the footage. Sunnyside has cameras everywhere. That stopped her cold. You wouldn't. I don't have to. You said it yourself. She tried a different tactic then. Tears. The kind that come out of nowhere. Perfectly timed. Mascara running in calculated streaks. I just wanted to feel safe, she whispered. After my last breakup, I was scared of being hurt again. Then why date at all? I asked. Why not just keep a stable of safety nets until you find one gullible enough to stay? She slapped me. It wasn't hard, but it landed, more insult than injury. Good luck explaining that to your realtor, I said quietly. He sounds like a forgiving guy. That's when her mask cracked. You don't understand what you've started, she hissed. Noah isn't over me. He's obsessed. You've just made everything worse. Then maybe you shouldn't hand out backup roles like business cards. She stormed off, slamming the door hard enough to rattle the picture frames. 10 minutes later, I got a text from an unknown number. Noah, she's at my place. Said you were abusive. Just thought you should know. I stared at it for a long moment, then typed back. Me good. Keep her. That night, I didn't drink, didn't rage, didn't call my friends to vent. I just sat on the balcony, the city lights flickering like slow applause, and realized something simple. She'd humiliated herself, and all I had to do was hold up the mirror. I went to bed early. By morning, the next act had already begun. I woke up the next morning to 20 unread messages and one group chat explosion that could have fueled a documentary. Turns out, when you quietly expose someone who thrives on appearances, the world does the rest of the work for you. Noah had gone nuclear. By 10 a.m., he'd posted a long, bitter thread on Facebook and LinkedIn, because apparently Heartbreak doesn't respect platform boundaries. It started simple. 2 years as her safety net. Don't be me. Attached were screenshots, dozens of them. Messages from Kylie, spanning back before she and I ever met. You'll always be my person. I just need time to heal. If things don't work out with Eric, I'll know where home is. Each timestamp lined up perfectly with the months she'd been calling me her future. The captions were clinical, like he'd finally switched from grieving to documenting a crime scene. And the internet, as always, devoured it. Within hours, her name, full name, thanks to Noah's tags, was trending on our city's subreddit. A local meme page turned it into a joke. A cartoon of a trapeze artist labeled Kylie, flying through the air with 2 nets below her, Noah, and whoever's next. Her coworkers saw it first. One of them DM'd me screenshots from their group chat. OMG, isn't this our Kylie? Bro, safety net girl works in marketing. I can't. She literally gave a whole presentation on honesty in branding last week. Irony had clocked in early that day. By noon, she was calling me nonstop again. I finally answered, more out of curiosity than sympathy. Her voice was wrecked. Eric, why would you do this to me? I didn't do anything, I said. You built the stage, invited the audience, and then forgot the mic was on. You told him to post it. No. I told him the truth. What he did with it is his decision. Maybe you should have treated him like a person, not a placeholder. She sobbed, then shifted into rage. You don't understand what this is doing to me. Everyone's judging me for one stupid comment. One stupid comment that revealed an entire mindset, I replied. The problem isn't that you said it. It's that you believed it. She hung up. 2 hours later, my phone buzzed again. Facebook Messenger this time. A message from someone named Linda K. Her profile picture was a middle-aged woman in a floral blouse. Kylie's mom. Eric, I know you're hurt, but you're overreacting to harmless girl talk. Be a gentleman. Take down whatever you started before it ruins her life. I stared at the message for a moment, then typed back. Ma'am, your daughter emotionally manipulated people for sport. Maybe teach her empathy before etiquette. Scene. No reply. That night, the memes multiplied. One showed Kylie holding a fishing net labeled, "Just in case." Another had her face photoshopped onto a circus acrobat. The caption, "Safety Net Girl. Now playing in theaters near you." By the end of the week, Kylie's Instagram went private. Her LinkedIn vanished. Her employer, ironically, a PR firm, issued a quiet statement about professional conduct outside the workplace. Translation: she'd been demoted. Her friends evaporated, too. The same brunch crowd that had laughed at her backup joke unfollowed her in synchronized silence. I didn't gloat, didn't comment, didn't post a thing. I just watched from a distance as her entire curated life began to implode under the weight of its own dishonesty. Noah reached out once more, this time with an apology. "Didn't mean for it to get so big," he said. "But seeing everyone rally around it, it made me realize how many people get treated like that." "Don't apologize," I told him. "You didn't start it. You just stopped protecting the person who hurt you." He thanked me, said he was finally blocking her for good. I believed him. A few nights later, I ran into one of Kylie's old coworkers at a bar downtown. She raised her glass with a smirk. "So you're that Eric," she said. "The ex-boyfriend of Safety Net Girl." I didn't even flinch. "Guess so. Man," she chuckled. "She really picked the wrong guy to underestimate." I smiled faintly. "Nah, she just picked the wrong mirror." By the time I walked home, the city felt strangely quiet, peaceful even. No more buzzing phone, no passive-aggressive texts, no emotional theater. Just air I could finally breathe. And that's the thing about the truth. It doesn't need your help once it's loose. It spreads on its own, finds its way into the cracks, and disinfects everything it touches. I didn't need revenge. I didn't need a grand speech or a final confrontation. Kylie had written her own ending the moment she decided love was a backup plan. All I did was turn the lights on. A week later, just as I was unpacking a quiet Saturday morning with coffee and jazz, there was a knock at the door. I opened it to find Kylie's mom standing there like she owned the place. Designer tracksuit, hair perfect, a Louis Vuitton tote slung over her shoulder. But the real kicker? She had a checkbook in hand. "Eric," she began, voice sharp and rehearsed. "Let's settle this quietly. $5,000, and you delete everything." I blinked. "Ma'am, I didn't post anything. You might want to check with the internet. It did most of the work itself." Her eyes narrowed, jaw tightening. "You'll regret this. Kylie's a catch. People will think you ruined her reputation unfairly." I leaned against the doorframe, calm as a lake. "If manipulation's the bait, ma'am, I'll fish alone. I don't need to ruin anyone. The hooks are already sticking themselves." She huffed, swiveled on her heels, and stalked back to her car, muttering something about ungrateful men. I closed the door, set my coffee down, and laughed quietly to myself. Later that night, my phone buzzed. A message from Noah. "Eric, you're not going to believe this. Found 2 more guys, Ryan and Tom." Kylie kept them on the line too. We started a group chat, calling it the Backup Club. I chuckled and joined, reading the first few messages. No venom, no recriminations, just stories, screenshots, and mutual relief. Ryan had a stack of texts from Kylie about weekend plans she never confirmed. Tom had screenshots of promises for future trips that never happened. Each one was a breadcrumb trail of lies, carefully cultivated, and now laid bare in a safe space. Noah. "Honestly, feels good just to vent." Ryan. "She told me I was special too. What a circus." Tom. "I thought I was the one she trusted. Turns out we were all training wheels." And then, someone posted a meme. Kylie juggling 3 phones like a circus performer, each labeled with a backup guy's name. The chat exploded in laughter. Noah. "Okay. Beer night? We need to toast to surviving the same circus." Ryan. "Absolutely. Finally free from the safety net." Tom. "Agreed. Freedom never tasted so good." That was the strange, almost poetic truth about her web of manipulation. It didn't produce hatred or revenge. It created a quiet brotherhood, forged from shared humiliation and mutual validation. There was no plotting for retaliation. Just relief, and the strange satisfaction of knowing that the same cleverness she used to trap hearts had inadvertently brought strangers together. I leaned back in my chair, phone in hand, scrolling through the backup club messages. Oddly comforting. These were people I might never have met if not for Kylie's grand performance. Now, connected by the absurdity of the same story, we could laugh at it instead of falling for it. And as I read another string of screenshots, her carefully worded promises, her backup plans for every eventuality, I realized something. She thought she had power, weaving her little nets around unsuspecting men. But she'd miscalculated in one vital way. Her manipulation didn't isolate us. United us. We were free. And we knew it. The first beer night was scheduled for next Friday. We didn't need to raise a toast to Kylie. We didn't even need to invite her. We just needed to celebrate the quiet victory of clarity, honesty, and the unspoken rule that some people's webs of lies are only dangerous to themselves. By the end of that week, I knew this was over. Not with fights, not with courtrooms, not even with social media drama. Over with subtlety, laughter, and the slow, satisfying click of doors finally closing. Kylie might still be out there, practicing her routines, perfecting her smiles, thinking she had control. Meanwhile, we were laughing at her circus, together, and that, somehow, was infinitely more satisfying than any revenge she could have imagined. It was almost impressive, in a twisted sort of way, how Kylie escalated. Public humiliation hadn't worked. Her safety net strategy had collapsed, and yet she kept trying. I woke up Monday to a notification that made my stomach drop. A photo on Instagram. Kylie, sprawled on her bed, expression carefully tortured, with the caption, "This is your fault. I can't do this anymore." My thumb hovered over the screen for half a second before I did the only rational thing. I called 911. By the time the cops arrived, she was sitting at her vanity, perfectly fine, curling her hair and humming. They shook their heads, and I quietly explained what had happened. One officer muttered something about emotional manipulation under his breath. That night, I received a text. "I might be pregnant. You can't leave me like this." I stared for a moment, then typed calmly, "Strange. We haven't slept together in 6 weeks. Also, I had a vasectomy 2 years ago." A pause. A single, crushing reply. "Oh, right." I leaned back and exhaled, not surprised. The pattern was clear. Attempted guilt, then attempted fear, then a plea masked as desperation. Then came TikTok. She posted a video, soft music, dramatic voiceover. "He's emotionally abusive." I tried to be patient, but he pushed me away. #heartbroken, #gaslight. It went semi-viral fast. 40,000 views in under 24 hours. I braced for the comments to turn into a social media lynching. But Noah, ever diligent, showed up in the comments section with a single, devastating post. Screenshots, timestamps, receipts. 2 years of her manipulations laid bare. And then the feeding frenzy began. Former friends chimed in. Strangers debated. Memes sprouted overnight. Every TikTok of her victimhood was turned on its head. By the next evening, she had deleted everything. Gone. Vanished like a magician's rabbit. Just when I thought it was over, an email pinged in my inbox. From her. Subject line, "A chance for forgiveness. Eric, I'm willing to forgive you if you apologize publicly, pay $8,000 for emotional damage, and attend therapy. On your dime. Love always, Kylie." I stared at it. $8,000. Public apology. Therapy sessions. Love always. My finger hovered over the keyboard for what felt like a full minute. Then I typed 4 words that ended the charade once and for all. Kylie, no. Sent. I didn't reply to her follow-ups, didn't block her, because there was nothing left to block. The emotional theater had burned itself out. Her power had evaporated. I poured a glass of whiskey and sat back, the room quiet. For the first time in months, I didn't check my phone compulsively. There were no messages waiting, no traps to step into, no new lies to untangle. And in that silence, I realized something. She had tried everything: public shame, emotional manipulation, fear, guilt, even social media weaponization. Each act escalated in desperation, each one a failed attempt to regain control. But none of it worked. Not because I was clever or cruel. Not because I held grudges or sought revenge. Simply because I had clarity, boundaries, and evidence. I had refused to play the role she'd written for me. And in that refusal, she lost. Completely. For the first time, I slept without the tension knotting my chest, without the dread of the next escalation. She had made a spectacle of herself, and the world had quietly watched, sorted, and decided. I didn't need to fight her anymore. The truth had already won. A month later, life had settled into an almost cinematic quiet. Kylie was back living with her parents, wearing the same victimized expression in every photo she posted online. I heard through the grapevine that her Instagram was private, LinkedIn dormant, and her friends had largely disappeared, ghosted after realizing the backup girl saga wasn't a joke anymore. Then, unexpectedly, her younger sister reached out. A simple DM. "Eric, I'm sorry. I never realized how bad it was. I hope you're okay." I paused for a long second, then replied with a brief, "Thanks. I am. That's what matters." Meanwhile, the backup club had become something tangible, something real. Noah, Ryan, and Tom started meeting on Thursdays for bowling. Team name? Not Your Plan B. They didn't talk about Kylie much. Mostly they laughed at the absurdity of surviving the same circus. They shared screenshots, swapped stories, and toasted quietly to their freedom. Noah even met someone new. A kind, patient woman who admired how he'd stood up for himself. Ryan and Tom were thriving. No lingering resentment, just camaraderie. As for me, I was better than ever. Clean break, no drama. No manipulative phone calls at 2 a.m. No carefully curated lies waiting to be exposed. I found myself enjoying the small, quiet freedoms I'd taken for granted. Mornings with coffee on the balcony, long bike rides, evenings spent without the anxiety of anticipating emotional traps. Funny twist, the universe has its little ironies. Turns out, Kylie's mom had been texting her ex behind her husband's back for decades. The apple didn't fall far from the tree. Eventually, her parents started counseling, trying to untangle the patterns of deceit that had infiltrated their household. The moral was simple, glaring, almost obvious in hindsight. When someone laughs about keeping a backup plan, believe them. When they treat people like insurance policies, don't waste time arguing, reasoning, or justifying. Don't step into their game. Cut the rope. It's amazing how peaceful it feels once you stop being someone's safety net. No more tension, no more manipulation, no more pretending that loyalty is a currency they understand. You realize that your time, energy, and respect are yours, and they're not for anyone else to gamble with. The city moved on. The brunch cafe kept serving overpriced avocado toast. Life carried its hum and glow. And me? I walked down the streets lighter, freer, knowing one simple truth. When you stop holding up someone else's world, you finally get to stand in your own. The ropes were gone, and so was the weight they carried. I smiled. Peace at last feels exactly like this.